The demand of defunding law enforcement becomes a central demand in how we actually get real accountability and justice, because it means we are reducing the ability of law enforcement to have resources that harm our communities. But I do think that the demand of defunding law enforcement becomes a central demand, and with that demand, it is not just about taking away money from the police, it's about reinvesting those dollars into black communities, communities that have been deeply divested from, communities that some have never felt the impact of having true resources, and so we have to reconsider what we're resourcing. I've been saying we have an economy of punishment over an economy of care.
So everybody is probably asking about abolition and what it is. Many of you remember the defund movement last summer. Well, a lot of the defund movement was actually a call for abolition. And to really put it simply, abolition is the getting rid of police, prisons and jails, surveillance, and courts. I know, sounds a little scary, but I promise you there is so much imagination.
Same woman who used a bunch of dead people to prey on the emotions of the gullible to get millions of dollars to buy mansions, content creator houses, and not do anything that would actually be beneficial to the black community, help the black community improve, help the black community become better, constantly ignoring black people doing harm to black people, constantly ignoring the riots that affected black businesses, constantly ignoring when somebody actually needs help, as opposed to somebody crying about a white guy having shoelaces tied. It is embarrassing that this same person got a bunch of people to believe that they were doing a fight to help defund the police. You had people concerned about all these millions of dollars being invested into police forces and not into schools, health, old people, all these different things. But now you're coming up a year after having all these people riled up over two individuals now to sit here and say that this is all about getting rid of the police, jails, the court system, all these different things. Do you know what would happen if your weird idea of abolishing the police were to actually stand and take hold? It would be a fucking hell landscape. You mean to tell me that in your mind, if somebody broke into your house, killed all your family, you would just sit them down and talk to them and read a book and give them a blowjob? No, you would want them arrested and put in jail. What if somebody was to some little boy in the middle of the street? What are you going to do? Give him a candy apple and say you did a good job? No, you're going to want them prosecuted and put in jail. What if somebody goes and shoots up a school? I don't care what their skin color is, what their gender is, what their reason is. Would you want them to still be a part of the school system? Would you want them to still be hanging around the same people that they shot at? No, you would want them put in jail. I don't see why we're picking and choosing when we want to praise this woman and when we want to ignore everything that she says that is counterintuitive to whatever this movement is supposed to be about. I've told y'all from Jump Street, this organization is one of the biggest embarrassments to the black community in the past 5 years. It is a shame that there are so many people, black, white, whatever, that constantly think this organization helps the black community. They constantly ignore black lives. They pick and choose which black lives matter as long as there's a white person who is holding up a gun and they can send Al Sharpton to spin a narrative. They have ignored countless individuals who are black, who have lost their lives unjustly, all for the sake of saying black on black don't exist. Conservative talking point, Republican this, Donald Trump that. They want us divided, yet they do nothing to help bring us together. It's embarrassing that y'all want to sit here and say, oh, abolishing the police, social workers will be able to handle this. They will not be able to handle every single situation, and you are fooling yourself thinking that that's going to be the case. It is embarrassing that y'all have allowed this scam to go on for so long that they got millions of dollars that most of y'all didn't even know about, that they don't know where it's at, and somehow magically they buying mansions every other month. They're hiding the fact that they're buying mansions for 2 years, and once it comes up, oh, now we got to start talking about what we got to do as a better organization. No, you got a lot of shit you got to do to even be considered as a reasonable and resourceful organization. But until that time, you will never get that courtesy. You will never get that respect, because guess what? This same cycle of white cops, bad people, oh, we got to do this, we got to march, we got to riot, we got to loot, we got to do all this, we got to attack black businesses, we got to stick up for the man, we got to make sure that all this money is coming to us. Isn't it fascinating that 2 years after the fact, Nothing's changed. We still got poor black people. We still got people struggling. We still got lives being lost. Yet these same few people that want to stand up and say we're fighting for black lives keep doing this. They keep talking and they're not doing anything to help change it. So my question to everybody that supports that movement, you just say the words, you spend money on their organization. When are you going to realize that it's all a bunch of bull and they don't value my black life? Because guess what? As I've said before, and I'll keep saying, because people like Patrisse, Cullors, and all these other shills like to deny it and don't want to address it, how is it that I'm more likely to die from the hands of somebody who looks like me as opposed to one of these evil white racist cops that y'all keep talking about? How is it that after all this time, y'all have made no significant ground in changing anything? You still ain't getting people reparations. You still not fighting for everybody's life. You pick and choose which ones matter. When are you going to admit that this is all a big con? And unfortunately, a lot of people have been ignored. And if you're going to say, oh, well, we're working on this first, but then we're going to get to that, you are proving that black lives don't matter. The convenient ones do.
There is now an arrest after this disturbing surveillance video showing a man walk up behind a security guard and then shoot him. Channel 2's Tom Regan is live on this developing story at the shopping center in Southwest Atlanta where that man was killed. Tom.
Yeah, Lynn, the victim was working security at this shopping center on Monday night when he was gunned down in an absolutely shocking case of violence. Flowers now mark the spot where he fell to the ground. Video shows the 51-year-old security guard in the moments before the gunman walks up from behind and shoots him in the back of the head.
There's no other way to describe it. Is barbaric. The nature of that video was extremely violent.
After shooting the security guard, Anthony Frazier, police say the gunman went through his pockets as he lay dying. He then ran off. The victim, a devoted family man working to put food on the table.
This is a man that's a husband and a father. He showed up to work to try to in a second job to try to earn some additional money for his family.
Police say the security camera video was a huge help in generating leads in the murder case. A Crime Stoppers reward also sparked tips that led to the arrest of 30-year-old Stanley Anderson, who was living in a homeless encampment not far from the crime scene.
Officers from our Zone 3 patrol units did a phenomenal job in pursuing that individual along with our gang unit. They were in the area. They were able to apprehend that individual.
Arrests in Atlanta murder cases are on the rise. APD says of the 56 murders so far in 2022, detectives have solved 35 cases. Police say 40% of killings begin with an argument that escalates to violence, and guns are often the weapons of death.
Over 80% of our homicides this year alone has been a result of firearms.
The morning of Sunday, April 24th.
No.
A man's voice seeming to say, go. Leonard Larry says Ring doorbell video captured his daughter, Brittany Booker, in some of her final moments alive.
Brittany was the sweetest kid. She gave you anything off her back. She helped anybody.
Larry says the man in the video is Terry Jackson. Racine police say the 41-year-old broke into Booker's home and left with her. Authorities say her body was found nearby hours later in her vehicle.
You didn't have to do that to my kid.
This man is dangerous. He's callous. He has no regard for human life. And if you know where he is, you need to let us know.
The criminal complaint details Jackson's assaults of his ex-girlfriend and also Booker. One attack on February 20th where his bruised ex told police Jackson beat her unconscious in her car. And another on February 27th where she says Jackson attacked her and Booker with a hammer.
She was holding my grandbaby, and because he was beating that girl again, and Brittany tried to break it up.
Larry says police could have done much more to protect his daughter. Now he's urging the public to come forward.
This dude needs to be off the street. He took something from me very precious.
I'm starting to truly think that there's no real thought into what these people say. They just say something to prey on the most vulnerable of emotions and hope it sticks, knowing that damn well if anybody with 2% of milk in their brain actually sits back and hears what they're saying and understands what they're doing, they're going to get called out, and when they do, they're not going to have any leg to stand on. It is embarrassing how somebody who preyed on the emotions of people regarding 2 dead black lives as a means to get what they want, has fumbled every chance at criticism, has deflected, has blamed other people, has said it's not their fault, and has tried to make it seem like everybody who's on the right is against her. No, you got people in your own camp against you. You got black people against you. Why? Because you spent all that time talking and not doing anything of benefit. You spent all that time getting on stage, letting people know that they're victims without giving them the opportunity to prove that they're more than that. You have spent too much time preying on the emotions of the gullible, getting all that money to think that you made it in life. And I'm here to let you know you didn't. You're a failure. You're an embarrassment to black people and black women, and you should be ashamed of yourself for spewing all these narratives that do not help the black community. You're one of the poorest excuses for a human being because you actually think there is something imaginative about letting criminals out on the street because you think there's some racial disparity with all of them. No, some of them actually deserve to be in jail, in prison, and in hell because of what they've done. And some of them will pretend to be remorseful so that they can be let go and just go right back to doing the same things. How many examples do we have of people being let out after being arrested just to do the same thing over and over and over again? You fools need a better understanding about what is reality in this world, because these pie in the sky mentalities that you get told about from these people that don't care about you and just want to use you for some opportunities will continue to fall upon you. And it is up to you to understand what is true and what is BS. And unfortunately, for the past number of years, this woman and her organization, they have fed you BS and you have believed it for whatever reason. But I hope at some point you people wake the fuck up and understand that this woman has done nothing of benefit to the black community. How do I know that? Because with all that talking, with all them people in suits, with all them people letting you know that black people are victims 24/7, with everybody saying we're being hunted, with everybody saying whiteness this and whiteness that and supremacy here and supremacy there, black people seemingly have not improved whatsoever in these same low income communities, while this woman is sitting around in $1 million mansion in a white neighborhood. Maybe one day somebody will step up and actually create some change for the black community and not just stand in front of a bunch of people and say, look, we have a problem, and then just collect a bunch of money from them. Hopefully one day we have somebody who actually wants to see everybody in the black community succeed, and not just the people who get on stage in suits letting you all know that they're a millionaire, but you all are suffering because of the white nationalist elite supremacists that loom all across the country. Maybe one day we'll have somebody actually take the time to value black lives instead of picking which ones matter so they can put them on TV, sell a bunch of merch, make a bunch of donation money, and then not give it back to the community. Hopefully one day somebody will actually care about the black community, because this woman and that organization do not. And for all the black people who have wrote the long paragraph saying everything out the book that doesn't answer any of the criticism that I had in this video, I just have one question for you. If we do abolish the police, how in the fuck are we going to get justice for anybody whose life was taken unjustly? And the honest answer you could give me is because you that damn dumb and you that damn gullible.